a land where history breathes through every cobblestone, where mountains whisper ancient secrets and rivers carry stories older than time. A country of contrasts where vibrant cities meet endless plains, rugged coastlines touch tranquil waters, and traditions live side by side with modernity. Welcome to Ukraine, a nation of astonishing beauty, resilience, and soul-stirring wonder. From the misty peaks of the Carpathians to the sun-kissed beaches of the Black Sea, prepare to embark on a journey that will awaken your senses, ignite your curiosity, and leave you mesmerized. This is not just a travel experience, it's an exploration of the heart and soul of Ukraine, a land where every step tells a story. Imagine a place where history breathes through stone streets, where rivers carry centuries of memory, and where beauty persists with quiet strength. Ukraine is not just a country you visit, it is a land you feel. From vast golden plains to ancient cities crowned with domes of light, Ukraine unfolds as a story of endurance, culture, and breathtaking wonder. This is a nation shaped by time, tested by history, and defined by an unbreakable spirit that lives in its landscapes and its people. Ukraine stands at the crossroads of civilizations. For thousands of years, empires passed through this land, leaving behind layers of culture, architecture, and tradition. Yet Ukraine has never been merely a passage, it has always been a home to poets and warriors, farmers and dreamers, artists and builders. Every region carries a distinct voice, but together they form a single, powerful identity, rooted in freedom and belonging. The land itself feels alive. Endless fields of wheat roll under open skies, glowing gold in the sunlight, giving Ukraine its timeless nickname as the breadbasket of Europe. Rivers like the Dnipro flow with calm authority, connecting cities and villages, past and present. Forests stretch deep and quiet, while mountains rise gently, offering shelter and solitude. Nature here does not overwhelm, it embraces. Ukraine's cities tell stories written in stone and sound. Ancient foundations meet vibrant modern life, where cafes, music, and conversation fill historic squares. Bells echo from cathedral towers, not as relics of the past, but as living rhythms of daily life. Every street corner feels layered with memory, yet alive with motion and purpose. The past is not frozen here, it walks alongside the present. But to understand Ukraine, one must look beyond landscapes and architecture. The soul of the country lives in its people. Hospitality here is not a gesture, it is a value. Strength is not loud, it is steady. Ukrainians carry pride not in dominance, but in resilience, creativity, and community. Songs are sung not only for celebration, but for remembrance. Traditions are preserved not out of nostalgia, but because they still matter. Culture flows through every detail. Intricate embroidery tells stories without words. Folk melodies rise and fall like the land itself, filled with emotion and meaning. Food carries warmth and memory, shared across tables where stories are passed between generations. These are not performances for visitors, they are expressions of identity, lived and protected. Ukraine is a country of contrast. Quiet villages and energetic cities, ancient churches and modern skylines, soft hills and vast horizons. Yet nothing feels out of place. Everything belongs. This balance gives Ukraine its unique character, a sense that history, nature, and humanity are in constant dialogue. To travel through Ukraine is to witness dignity in simplicity and beauty in strength. It is to see how a nation holds on to its roots while looking forward with courage. Ukraine does not ask to be admired, it simply reveals itself, layer by layer, moment by moment. This journey is an invitation to see beyond assumptions, beyond headlines, beyond borders. What awaits is a land of depth, warmth, and astonishing beauty. This is Ukraine, timeless, resilient, and unforgettable. At the heart of Ukraine, where the wide Dnipro River curves like a ribbon of time, stands Kyiv, a city older than many European capitals, and yet endlessly young in spirit. This is a place where centuries do not disappear. They overlap. Kyiv does not simply exist in history. It carries history forward, breathing life into every street, dome, and riverbank. Kyiv's story begins more than 1,000 years ago, when it emerged as a powerful center of culture, trade, and faith. From these hills above the Dnipro, ideas traveled across continents, shaping the foundations of Eastern Europe. Even today, standing on the city's high viewpoints, you feel the gravity of that past. The river below flows steadily, just as it has for generations, connecting villages, cities, and civilizations. Golden domes define Kyiv's skyline, catching sunlight and reflecting it across the city like quiet flames. Ancient monasteries and cathedrals rise not as monuments frozen in time, but as living spaces, places of reflection, prayer, and community. Bells ring softly through the air, blending with the sounds of modern life. Here, faith and daily rhythm move together, inseparable. Yet Kyiv is not only a city of sacred spaces, it is a city of people. Wide boulevards lead to leafy parks where families walk, artists gather, and conversations unfold. Cafes spill onto sidewalks, filled with laughter, music, and the scent of fresh coffee. The city pulses with creativity and intellect, shaped by students, writers, musicians, and thinkers who continue to redefine its identity. Walking through Kyiv feels like moving through layers of time. One moment, you pass buildings that have witnessed empires rise and fall. The next, you enter modern districts alive with innovation and youthful energy. Glass towers stand not in opposition to ancient walls, but alongside them, proving that growth does not require erasure. Kyiv's neighborhoods each tell a different story. Some echo with quiet elegance, others with vibrant motion. Street musicians perform beneath historic facades, turning public squares into shared stages. Art appears unexpectedly on walls, under bridges, in hidden courtyards, expressing emotion, humor, and reflection. Creativity here feels instinctive, woven into the city's identity. Nature is never far away. Parks line the riverbanks, offering moments of calm within the city's energy. In every season, Kyiv transforms. Spring brings blossoms and renewal. Summer fills the streets with light and celebration. Autumn paints the city in gold and amber, and winter wraps it in silence and reflection. Each season reveals a different face, yet the city remains unmistakably itself. But what truly defines Kyiv is resilience. Not the loud kind, but the steady kind, the resilience that comes from knowing who you are. The city has endured hardship, change, and challenge, yet it continues to stand with dignity. Its strength is visible, not only in stone and structure, but in everyday life, in the way people gather, create, and move forward. Kyiv is more than a capital. It is a memory keeper, a cultural heartbeat, and a bridge between past and future. To experience Kyiv is to feel the weight of history without being overwhelmed by it, to witness how tradition can coexist with transformation. As evening settles and lights reflect across the Dnipro, Kyiv reveals its quiet magic. The city slows, the river darkens, golden domes glow softly against the night sky. In that moment, it becomes clear Kyiv is not just the heart of Ukraine, it is its enduring soul. There are cities that impress you, and there are cities that enchant you. Lviv belongs to the second kind. From the moment you enter its old streets, time seems to soften, and the world moves to a gentler rhythm. Lviv is not loud in its beauty, it whispers it, through cobblestones polished by centuries, pastel facades glowing in soft light, and melodies drifting through hidden courtyards. Lviv's story is one of crossroads and coexistence. For centuries, cultures and empires met here, leaving behind a city layered with influence, yet unified in spirit. Gothic towers rise beside Baroque churches. Renaissance courtyards open into quiet squares, and ornate balconies frame streets that feel like open-air galleries. Every turn reveals detail, craftsmanship, and intention, as if the city itself were carefully composed. Walking through Lviv feels like stepping into a living fairy tale. Street lamps cast warm light at dusk, cafe tables fill narrow lanes, and the aroma of roasted coffee lingers in the air. Coffee here is not just a drink. It is a ritual, a conversation, a pause in time. Locals linger, talk, and observe, turning everyday moments into quiet celebrations of life. Art and music flow naturally through the city. Street performers play violins and accordions beneath historic arches, their melodies echoing through stone corridors. Galleries, theaters, and bookshops are woven seamlessly into daily life. Creativity is not confined to stages, it spills into streets, staircases, and walls, giving Lviv its unmistakable soul. Lviv's old town stands as a testament to preservation and pride. The central square, surrounded by colorful townhouses, feels both grand and intimate. Each building tells a story of merchants, craftsmen, scholars, and travelers who once passed through. From high towers, the city stretches out like a mosaic, rooftops forming patterns shaped by centuries of care rather than haste. Yet, Lviv is not frozen in the past. Beneath its historic surface beats a youthful energy. Students fill cafes and parks. Discussions stretch late into the night, and ideas flow freely. Modern life blends effortlessly with tradition, proving that heritage is not something to be locked away, it is something to be lived. Nature quietly frames the city. Green hills rise nearby, offering panoramic views where rooftops meet the sky. Parks invite reflection, laughter, and escape. Seasons transform Lviv dramatically. Spring awakens, flowers and fountains. Summer fills streets with festivals and music. Autumn wraps the city in golden tones, and winter turns it into a scene of quiet charm and glowing windows. What truly sets Lviv apart is its emotional warmth. Hospitality here feels instinctive, sincere. Conversations unfold easily. Smiles are genuine, and stories are shared without rush. The city welcomes not as a spectacle, but as a friend. There is comfort in its pace, in the way it allows you to slow down and notice details often missed elsewhere. Lviv does not demand attention, it earns affection. Its beauty lies not only in architecture or atmosphere, but in how it makes you feel: calm, curious, connected. It reminds you that cities are not built only of stone and streets, but of memory, creativity, and human presence. As night falls and lights shimmer across the old rooftops, Lviv reveals its quiet magic. Music softens, conversations linger, and the city breathes in harmony with those who walk its streets. Lviv is not just a destination, it is a feeling, one that stays long after you leave, gently calling you back. Rising gently along Ukraine's western horizon, the Carpathian Mountains feel like a world apart, a place where nature still speaks in whispers and traditions move at the pace of the land. Here, time slows, noise fades, and the modern world loosens its grip. The Carpathians are not dramatic in scale, yet they are profound in presence, offering a quiet power that settles deep within the soul. The journey into the mountains begins with winding roads that climb through forests thick with pine and beech. Mist drifts lazily between trees, and sunlight filters through leaves in soft, shifting patterns. The air grows cooler, cleaner, carrying the scent of earth and wood. Every breath feels restorative, as if the mountains themselves are offering refuge. Villages appear unexpectedly, tucked into valleys and perched on hillsides. Wooden houses with steep roofs blend seamlessly into the landscape, built with an understanding of weather, terrain, and tradition. Life here follows ancient rhythms, guided by seasons, harvests, and daylight. Mornings begin early, evenings arrive quietly, and community remains at the heart of daily existence. The Carpathians are home to the Hutzels, a highland culture known for its deep connection to nature, music, and craftsmanship. Their traditions are not preserved for display, they are lived. Hand-woven clothing, carved wood, and painted ceramics tell stories passed down through generations. Music fills homes and gatherings, played on violins and long wooden horns that echo across valleys, blending human sound with the voice of the mountains. Nature dominates every horizon. Rolling meadows open into dense forests, while peaks rise gently, offering panoramic views rather than dramatic cliffs. Trails lead to clear streams, hidden waterfalls, and quiet clearings where silence feels complete. Wildlife moves freely here, deer, birds, and forest creatures living largely undisturbed. The mountains feel balanced, alive, and deeply respected. Each season transforms the Carpathians into a new world. Spring awakens wildflowers and rushing rivers. Summer brings lush greens, grazing sheep, and endless skies. Autumn wraps the mountains in gold and crimson, filling the air with stillness and reflection. Winter blankets everything in snow, turning villages into scenes of warmth and quiet endurance, where smoke rises from chimneys and life continues calmly beneath frozen peaks. Spirituality here is subtle but present. Wooden churches stand among trees and fields, their simple forms blending with the land rather than dominating it. These sacred spaces reflect a faith grounded in humility and connection to nature. Bells ring softly, carried by wind through valleys, reminding listeners of continuity and belonging. The Carpathians are not a place of spectacle, they are a place of presence. Visitors do not come to be overwhelmed, but to be grounded. There is comfort in the silence, wisdom in the simplicity, and strength in the traditions that have endured here for centuries. The mountains teach patience, respect, and attentiveness lessons easily forgotten elsewhere. To walk through the Carpathians is to rediscover balance. Technology feels distant, urgency fades, and the mind clears. Conversations slow, meals are shared thoughtfully. Every moment feels intentional. It becomes clear that the mountains do not offer escape from life, but a reminder of how life can be lived. As evening descends and shadows stretch across the hills, the Carpathians settle into deep quiet. Stars emerge, brighter than expected, and the world feels vast, yet intimate. In that stillness, the mountains reveal their true gift, not just beauty but peace. Where the land meets the Black Sea, Odesa rises with a spirit unlike any other city in Ukraine. Bold, playful, and endlessly expressive, Odesa feels as though it was shaped by the waves themselves. From the moment you arrive, the air carries salt, laughter, and stories of journeys that begin and end at the water's edge. This is a city that lives outward toward the sea, toward the world. Odesa was born as a port, and the sea has always defined its identity. Ships from distant shores once arrived daily, bringing languages, ideas, and cultures that blended into a unique cosmopolitan character. That legacy remains visible today in the city's architecture, cuisine, and attitude. Odesa does not simply welcome diversity, it thrives on it. The city's streets unfold in wide, elegant lines, framed by pastel buildings and iron balconies. Classical facades reflect sunlight, while courtyards hide secret gardens and quiet conversations. Everywhere, there is a sense of openness, as if the city were designed to invite people to linger rather than rush. Even the sound of footsteps feels relaxed, unhurried. One of Odesa's most iconic landmarks descends dramatically toward the sea, the grand staircase that connects the city to the harbor below. From the top, the view stretches endlessly across water and sky. From the bottom, The city rises with graceful confidence. This space has witnessed history, celebration, and everyday life, becoming a symbol not just of Odesa, but of connection between land and sea. Along the coast, beaches extend in golden arcs, offering both energy and calm. Summer fills them with life, families, music, movement, while quieter seasons bring reflection and solitude. The sea is never just a backdrop. It is a companion. It changes color, mood, and rhythm, shaping the city's atmosphere from dawn to dusk. Odesa's true charm lies in its personality. Humor here is sharp, warm, and self-aware. Conversations feel theatrical, gestures expressive. Locals tell stories with flair, turning ordinary moments into performances. This sense of playfulness is not superficial. It is a way of life, shaped by centuries of openness and exchange. Culture flourishes effortlessly. Theaters, music halls, and galleries anchor the city's artistic life, while street musicians bring sound to sidewalks and squares. Performances feel accessible, woven into daily routine rather than separated from it. Art here is not distant, it belongs to everyone. Food in Odesa reflects its maritime soul. Fresh flavors, shared plates, and long meals bring people together. Dining is social, unhurried, filled with conversation and connection. Recipes carry influences from across the region, each dish telling a story of movement and blending cultures. As evening falls, Odesa transforms. Lights shimmer along the coastline, and the sea reflects the city's glow in gentle waves. Cafes fill with conversation, laughter drifts through open windows, and music carries across promenades. The city feels alive, but never overwhelming, energized, yet welcoming. Odesa is not a city that demands admiration. It invites participation. It asks you to sit, to listen, to smile, to stay a little longer than planned. It reminds you that life, like the sea, is meant to be experienced with openness and joy. In Odesa, Ukraine reveals its playful heart, a place where history meets humor, culture meets coastline, and every sunset feels like a shared celebration. In the quiet elegance of Western Ukraine, where borders once shifted and cultures gently intertwined, lies Chernivtsi, a city that feels both intimate and refined. Often described as one of Ukraine's most graceful destinations, Chernivtsi carries itself with a calm confidence, revealing beauty not through grandeur alone, but through balance, detail, and atmosphere. This is a place where history speaks softly, inviting you to listen rather than rush. Chernivtsi's identity has been shaped by centuries of cultural coexistence. Influences from Central and Eastern Europe blend seamlessly here, creating a cityscape that feels distinctly European, yet unmistakably Ukrainian. Walking its streets feels like stepping into a thoughtful composition, each building placed with care, each square designed for reflection as much as movement. At the heart of the city stands a masterpiece of architecture, a complex so striking it feels almost unreal. Its red brick towers, patterned roofs, and ornate details rise with both strength and elegance. This landmark is more than an architectural wonder. It is a symbol of intellectual life, cultural continuity, and respect for learning. Surrounded by quiet courtyards and tree-lined paths, it embodies the city's deep appreciation for knowledge and creativity. Beyond its iconic center, Chernivtsi unfolds in gentle layers. Streets curve naturally, revealing cafes, bookshops, and small plazas where life unfolds at an unhurried pace. Conversation légère, footsteps slow. The city encourages observation of facades, shaped by time, of ironwork balconies, of light filtering through old trees. Nothing feels forced, nothing demands attention. Beauty here is discovered gradually. The city's multicultural heritage lives not only in architecture, but in spirit. For generations, different communities shared this space, contributing language, music, cuisine, and ideas. That legacy remains present in the openness of the city, in its respect for diversity, and in the way traditions coexist rather than compete. It is a quiet lesson in harmony. Nature frames Chernivtsi with subtle grace. Green parks and riverbanks offer moments of calm, blending seamlessly with urban life. Seasonal changes bring new textures. Spring blossoms soften stone streets. Summer fills courtyards with shade and conversation. Autumn paints the city in warm tones, and winter settles gently, emphasizing stillness and clarity. Cultural life here is thoughtful and sincere. Music, literature, and theater are valued not as spectacle, but as conversation. Performances feel intimate, drawing audiences into shared moments of reflection. Creativity is encouraged, nurtured, and respected, forming a vital part of the city's identity. Chernivtsi does not overwhelm, it reassures. It reminds visitors that beauty does not need scale to be powerful, and that cultural richness can thrive in quiet spaces. There is comfort in its rhythm, wisdom in its restraint, and depth in its history. As evening arrives, streetlights glow softly against historic facades. The city grows quieter, yet no less alive. Windows illuminate, conversations continue, and time seems generous. In these moments, Chernivtsi reveals its essence, a place where elegance meets humility, and where the past and present exist in thoughtful balance. Chernivtsi is not a destination that rushes to impress. It waits patiently, confident that those who slow down will discover its charm. In doing so, it offers something rare, a sense of calm, continuity, and quiet inspiration that lingers long after you leave. Across Ukraine's rolling hills, riverbanks, and ancient crossroads, stone walls rise as silent witnesses to centuries of conflict, ambition, and survival. These are Ukraine's castles and fortresses, structures built not only for defense, but for identity. Each tower, gate, and battlement carries echoes of battles fought, alliances forged, and legends born. Together, they form a powerful medieval tapestry that reveals how deeply history is embedded in the land. Many of these fortresses stand in places of natural strength, on rocky cliffs, above rivers, or at strategic passes where trade routes once converged. From a distance, they appear almost mythical, emerging from mist or silhouetted against the sky. Up close, their weathered stones tell stories of endurance. Time has softened their edges, but not their presence. One of the most striking aspects of Ukraine's castles is their diversity. Influenced by different eras and cultures, no two feel the same. Some rise with dramatic towers and thick walls, built to withstand sieges and invasions. Others feel more refined, blending defense with elegance, reflecting periods when power was expressed not only through strength, but through beauty and order. Walking through these fortresses feels like stepping into another age. Narrow staircases spiral upward, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Courtyards open unexpectedly, once filled with soldiers, horses, and the constant preparation for uncertainty. Arrow slits frame distant landscapes, reminding visitors that every view once held strategic meaning. Legends cling tightly to these walls. Stories of heroic defenses, secret passages, and lost treasures are passed down through generations. Some tales speak of bravery and sacrifice, others of intrigue and betrayal. Whether rooted in fact or folklore, they add emotional depth, transforming stone into memory. The fortresses also reveal the complexity of Ukraine's past. Borders shifted often, and these strongholds changed hands many times. Each new ruler left marks, architectural additions, repairs, or symbols of authority. As a result, the castles feel layered, shaped by centuries of adaptation rather than a single vision. Nature has slowly reclaimed many of these sites, weaving ivy through cracks and surrounding walls with trees and grass. This blend of architecture and landscape creates a quiet poetry. Birds nest in towers once guarded by soldiers. Wind passes freely through halls that once echoed with commands. What was built for war now offers peace and reflection. These castles are not isolated relics. They remain connected to nearby towns and villages. Local life continues around them, grounding history in the present. Festivals, music, and gatherings often bring these ancient spaces back to life, not as symbols of conflict, but as places of shared heritage. Standing atop a fortress wall, overlooking valleys and rivers, perspective shifts. The scale of the land becomes clear, as does the determination required to protect it. These structures were born from necessity, but they endure as symbols of resilience, strategy, and the human desire to safeguard home and identity. Ukraine's castles and fortresses do more than tell stories of the past. They invite reflection on endurance and change. They remind us that history is not distant. It is present in the stones beneath our feet, in the landscapes shaped by centuries of struggle and perseverance. As sunlight fades and shadows stretch across ancient walls, these fortresses seem to breathe again, holding their silence with dignity. They stand not as ruins, but as guardians of memory, strong, weathered, and profoundly human. Beyond the cities and monuments, beyond the grand stories written in stone, lies the quiet heart of Ukraine, the countryside. This is where the land opens wide, where horizons stretch endlessly, and where life follows rhythms unchanged for generations. The Ukrainian countryside does not rush to impress. It welcomes slowly, revealing its beauty through simplicity, patience, and deep connection to the earth. Vast fields roll across the landscape like waves of gold and green. Wheat, sunflowers, and grasses move gently with the wind, creating a living sea beneath open skies. These fields are more than scenery. They are legacy. For centuries, the land has fed families, shaped traditions, and anchored identity. Every season carries purpose. Every harvest tells a story of effort and hope. Villages appear like quiet pauses in the landscape. Modest homes line narrow roads, their gardens carefully tended, bursting with flowers in summer and resting peacefully in winter. Wooden fences lean gently with age, and fruit trees shade courtyards where generations gather. Life here is not about excess, it is about continuity, care, and belonging. Morning begins early in the countryside. Light rises softly, roosters announce the day, and fields awaken with movement. Evenings arrive gently, marked by shared meals, conversation, and rest. The pace is deliberate, shaped by daylight and weather rather than clocks and screens. Time feels generous here, allowing moments to breathe. Tradition live, naturally in rural life. Folk songs are sung not for performance, but for memory. Handcrafted embroidery, pottery, and woodwork are part of everyday surroundings, carrying symbols passed down through families. These expressions are not preserved in museums. They remain alive, woven into daily routines. Nature surrounds and supports every aspect of countryside living. Rivers provide water and reflection. Forests offer shelter and resources, and open land invites both labor and rest. There is an understanding here, quiet, unspoken, that humans are guests of the land, not its masters. Respect guides interaction, ensuring balance rather than dominance. Seasonal change transforms the countryside completely. Spring brings renewal, blossoms, and the promise of growth. Summer fills the land with color and energy, fields alive under the sun. Autumn arrives with warmth and reflection, harvesting not only crops but gratitude. Winter settles in silence, covering villages in snow and drawing life inward, closer to hearth and family. Hospitality defines rural Ukraine. Visitors are welcomed with sincerity, offered food, stories, and time. Conversations unfold slowly, filled with curiosity and kindness. There is pride here, not loud or boastful, but steady and rooted. Pride in land, in family, in the ability to endure. The countryside teaches lessons often forgotten, that abundance can come from care rather than speed. That beauty exists in routine. That community strengthens resilience. These values are not spoken loudly. They are lived quietly, day after day. Walking through a village lane, listening to wind through trees and distant voices, a sense of grounding emerges. The world feels stable, connected, and meaningful. The countryside does not distract its centers. It reminds you where food comes from, where stories begin, and where identity takes its first breath. In rural Ukraine, the nation's soul is not displayed. It is sustained. The land holds memory, labor, and love in equal measure. And as the sun sets over fields glowing softly in evening light, it becomes clear that this quiet beauty is not secondary to Ukraine's story. It is its foundation. There is a side of Ukraine that feels almost untouched by time. A world of mountains, forests, rivers, and hidden paths where nature speaks louder than cities ever could. This is Ukraine's wild landscape, a place where adventure and tranquility exist side by side, offering experiences that are both humbling and unforgettable. The Carpathian Mountains rise gently, yet powerfully, in western Ukraine. Their slopes wrapped in dense forests and drifting mist. These mountains do not overwhelm with sharp peaks. Instead, they invite exploration. Rolling ridgelines stretch into the distance, dotted with alpine meadows where wildflowers bloom freely in warmer months. Every step here feels personal, as if the land is slowly revealing itself rather than demanding attention. Deep within these forests, ancient trees stand as silent witnesses to centuries of change. Sunlight filters through thick canopies, creating patterns that shift with the breeze. The air is cool, clean, and filled with the scent of pine and earth. Walking these trails is not about reaching a destination. It is about surrendering to the journey itself. Rivers carve their way through valleys, clear and energetic. Mountain streams rush over stones, creating a constant melody that echoes through the landscape. In calmer stretches, water reflects the sky and surrounding greenery like glass. These rivers are lifelines, shaping the land and sustaining villages tucked quietly along their banks. Adventure thrives in these natural spaces. Hiking trails lead to panoramic viewpoints where the world opens wide, rewarding patience with breathtaking scenes. In winter, the mountains transform into snow-covered wonderlands, drawing skiers and travelers seeking solitude as much as excitement. Each season reshapes the experience, offering something entirely new while preserving the same spirit. Wildlife moves freely here. Deer pass silently through clearings, birds soar above valleys, and smaller creatures remain hidden but present, reminding visitors that this land belongs first to nature. There is a sense of respect that grows naturally in understanding that humans are visitors in a larger, living system. Beyond the mountains, Ukraine's national parks protect wetlands, canyons, and steppe landscapes. Vast open spaces stretch endlessly, where grasses ripple under the wind and the sky feels impossibly large. These regions offer a different kind of beauty, one defined by openness, silence, and freedom. Canyons cut dramatically through the land, revealing layers of rock shaped over millions of years. Standing at their edges, the scale of time becomes impossible to ignore. These formations are not only visually striking, they tell stories of natural forces far older than any human presence. Nature here invites reflection. Away from noise and movement, thoughts slow down, breathing deepens, awareness sharpens. It becomes easier to notice small details, the sound of water, the movement of clouds, the way light changes across a hillside. This connection feels instinctive, grounding, and deeply human. Local communities live in harmony with these landscapes, respecting their power and generosity. Traditions are shaped by weather, terrain, and seasons. Knowledge of the land is passed quietly, through experience rather than instruction. This relationship between people and nature feels balanced, thoughtful, and enduring. As the sun sets behind mountains or disappears beyond open plains, colors soften and shadows grow long. Silence settles gently, not empty but full of presence. In these moments, Ukraine's natural beauty reveals its true strength not through grandeur alone, but through peace. This wild Ukraine is not just scenery. It is a reminder of resilience, patience, and coexistence. A place where the land shapes the soul, and where every path, river, and forest invites you to slow down, look deeper, and listen. In the southern reaches of Ukraine, along the glittering coastline of the Black Sea, a different world unfolds. A land where sun, sand, and sea merge into a landscape of vibrant life and serene beauty. Here, history meets leisure, tradition meets modernity, and the horizon stretches endlessly, inviting exploration, reflection, and wonder. This is Ukraine's coastal charm, a region where the rhythms of nature and humanity flow together seamlessly. The coastline itself is striking. Golden sands stretch for miles, interrupted only by rocky outcrops and hidden coves. Waves break gently on the shore, carrying salt, stories, and the sound of movement. The sea changes color throughout the day, from deep navy at dawn to turquoise under the midday sun, then silver and gold as evening descends. To stand at the water's edge is to feel both small and connected, aware of time and tides, yet suspended in the present. Ports and harbors dot the coast, marking centuries of trade, travel, and exchange. Ships arrive and depart, bringing goods, people, and ideas, just as they have for generations. Fishing communities maintain traditions that have shaped daily life here for centuries. Nets are cast, boats are repaired, and families gather to share both work and stories. The connection to the sea is not only economic, it is cultural and deeply personal. Along the coast, resort towns thrive, balancing relaxation with local heritage. Cafes, markets, and promenades offer spaces for enjoyment, reflection, and social connection. Life unfolds at a measured pace, guided by sunlight, tides, and seasonal rhythms. Festivals celebrate music, food, and folklore, bringing together locals and visitors in shared experience. The energy here is warm, vibrant, yet never overwhelming, a harmony of movement and calm. Nature extends beyond beaches. Coastal cliffs rise dramatically in some areas, providing panoramic views where land and sea meet in striking contrast. Wetlands, dunes, and lagoons create habitats for birds, fish, and other wildlife. These ecosystems are fragile yet resilient, showcasing the delicate balance between human life and natural forces. Observing them fosters a sense of awe and responsibility, an awareness of the beauty and complexity of the living world. The southern coast is also steeped in history. Archaeological sites, ancient fortresses, and old ports whisper stories of civilizations that once thrived along these shores. Greek colonies, Ottoman outposts, and medieval settlements left traces of culture and strategy, visible in ruins, mosaics, and artifacts. Walking through these sites is to step into layers of time, each telling tales of connection, conflict, and coexistence. Culinary culture along the coast is a reflection of both land and sea. Fresh seafood, locally grown produce, and traditional recipes create meals that are vibrant, flavorful, and shared with care. Food is more than sustenance here. It is ritual, storytelling, and a link between generations. Every dish carries memory, geography, and pride. The region's people embody the duality of coastal life: resilience and openness, rootedness and adaptability. Communities thrive despite challenges, maintaining traditions while embracing modernity. Hospitality is genuine, inviting visitors to participate rather than simply observe. Conversations unfold slowly, stories are exchanged, and bonds are formed naturally. As evening descends, the Black Sea mirrors the sky, glowing with soft hues of amber, rose, and violet. Lights from seaside towns shimmer across water, and the gentle murmur of waves blends with distant laughter and music. In these moments, time feels fluid, expansive, and deeply alive. The coast is not merely scenery, it is experience, emotion, and memory. Ukraine's southern shores remind us that beauty exists in rhythm, balance, and connection. Mountains, forests, plains, and cities tell stories, but the coast teaches how to pause, breathe, and witness. It is a landscape of reflection, a space where the human spirit feels both grounded and free. In this meeting of land, water, and sky, Ukraine's journey reaches a quiet culmination. From northern forests to southern beaches, from historic streets to mountain trails, the country reveals its full spectrum of wonder. Along Ukraine's southern coastline, the Black Sea is more than just a body of water. It is a living thread connecting past, present, and future. From the bustling port cities to quiet seaside villages, the sea shapes life in ways both visible and subtle. Its waters have witnessed trade, exploration, and culture, carrying with them the echoes of Greek, Roman, Ottoman, and Slavic civilizations. Walking along the shore, you can almost hear centuries of ships, waves, and voices merging into a timeless rhythm. The coastline is striking in its diversity. Wide, sandy beaches stretch for miles, perfect for sun-soaked afternoons or long, reflective walks. In contrast, cliffs and rocky promontories rise sharply in other areas, creating dramatic landscapes where waves crash against stone, shaping patterns that have endured for millennia. Hidden coves offer private moments of quiet contemplation, where the only sounds are gulls overhead and the gentle lapping of water. Beyond its natural beauty, the Black Sea region thrives on its rich cultural tapestry. Ports like Odesa and Mykolaiv have been centers of commerce for centuries, blending European and Eastern influences. Their streets are alive with history, evident in architecture ranging from neoclassical buildings to Soviet-era structures, each telling a story of resilience, trade, and adaptation. Life in these cities balances tradition with modernity, creating spaces where both locals and visitors feel connected. Small fishing villages along the coast maintain a slower pace, offering glimpses into daily life that have changed little over generations. Nets are cast at dawn, boats return filled with the sea's bounty, and families gather to share meals prepared with care. Local markets are vibrant with fresh fish, colorful vegetables, and handmade crafts, illustrating how closely human life remains tied to the rhythms of nature and the sea. Nature along the coast is varied and compelling. Coastal wetlands serve as vital habitats for migratory birds and diverse wildlife. Dunes rise and fall, creating patterns sculpted by wind and water. Inland, rivers meet the sea, forming lagoons and estuaries that provide both beauty and ecological importance. These landscapes require careful stewardship, yet they retain a sense of wildness and freedom that is increasingly rare in modern life. Seasonal changes transform the coast dramatically. Spring brings renewal, with wildflowers blooming along dunes and gardens. Summer fills beaches with life and energy, drawing people to the warmth of the sun in the cool embrace of the water. Autumn turns forests and fields inland into golden hues, mirrored by calmer seas and softer light. Winter offers a quiet, reflective time, with empty beaches, mist over the water, and a stillness that feels almost sacred. Food culture along the coast reflects this connection to land and sea. Fresh seafood, locally grown produce, and traditional recipes are celebrated in homes, markets, and restaurants alike. Meals are shared slowly, often outdoors, where the sound of waves becomes part of the dining experience. Culinary traditions preserve history, celebrate community, and connect people to the environment that sustains them. The Black Sea coast also inspires creativity. Painters, writers, and musicians have long found muse in its landscapes. Sunlight on water, the interplay of wind and cliffs, and the quiet dignity of villages provide endless inspiration. Festivals and cultural gatherings continue to celebrate music, dance, and art, blending heritage with contemporary expression. As evening descends, the coast transforms once again. The horizon glows with the colors of sunset. Waves shimmer with reflected light, and the city lights along the shore twinkle like stars fallen to earth. Conversations drift through coastal cafes. Music plays softly, and the rhythm of the sea continues, steady and enduring. In this space, time feels expansive yet intimate, offering both perspective and presence. Ukraine's southern coast is more than a destination. It is a living classroom of history, culture, and natural beauty. It reminds visitors that landscapes shape life, that continuity and change can coexist, and that the simplest moments, sunlight on water, sand between toes, laughter shared, can leave the deepest impressions. The southern coast of Ukraine is a region where contrasts blend seamlessly, where the vibrancy of modern life coexists with the quiet persistence of nature and tradition. From bustling seaside towns to secluded coves, from historic ports to unspoiled wetlands, this stretch of land along the Black Sea offers a rich tapestry of experiences that captivate the senses and nourish the soul. Traveling along the coast, one is struck by the diversity of landscapes. Wide golden beaches invite sunbathers and walkers alike, stretching endlessly under open skies. In places, rocky cliffs rise abruptly from the water, carved over centuries by the relentless rhythm of waves. These cliffs are more than natural formations. They are silent witnesses to history, standing firm as empires rose and fell, trade flourished, and cultures intersected. Between these extremes lie lagoons, marshes, and dunes, forming complex ecosystems that support birds, fish, and countless other species. These environments demand care and respect, yet they retain an untamed beauty that is both humbling and inspiring. Coastal cities along the Black Sea combine vitality with heritage. Ports like Odesa, Kherson, and Mykolaiv buzz with activity, where ferries, fishing boats, and cargo vessels converge, continuing traditions that span centuries. Their architecture tells stories of a cosmopolitan past. Neoclassical theaters, Baroque facades, and Ottoman-influenced details reveal layers of history, while modern infrastructure reflects adaptation and progress. Sidewalk cafes, bustling markets, and lively promenades illustrate the human desire to connect, relax, and celebrate life amidst this vibrant setting. In smaller villages, life follows the rhythm of nature. Dawn begins with fishermen setting out to sea, their boats carrying nets and hope, while families prepare for the day ahead. Evenings bring gatherings where meals are shared, stories are told, and traditions continue to pass from generation to generation. Here, culture is lived rather than performed. Crafts, music, and culinary skills are practical, celebrated, and intimately tied to the land and water. The Black Sea itself is both a connector and a teacher. Its changing colors and moods mirror the cycles of human life, reflecting calm mornings, stormy afternoons, and tranquil evenings. Its waters have transported ideas, goods, and people for millennia, shaping identities along its shores. To swim, sail, or simply sit by the sea is to participate in this continuum, feeling the pulse of history alongside the present. Seasonal transformations bring new character to the coast. Spring awakens flora and fauna, painting the beaches and wetlands with vibrant colors. Summer fills towns and resorts with energy, as tourists, locals, and seasonal workers converge in shared celebration. Autumn offers a quieter, reflective beauty, with cooler air, softer light, and waves carrying a gentle rhythm. Winter cloaks the region in tranquility. Deserted beaches and quiet ports reveal a landscape stripped to its essentials, a reminder of the enduring cycles of nature and life. Food culture along the coast exemplifies the balance of land and sea. Fresh seafood, fish, mussels, and crustaceans meets locally grown vegetables and fruits, while traditional recipes reflect centuries of exchange, adaptation, innovation. Meals are often communal, enjoyed outdoors whenever possible, where conversation and observation of the natural environment are part of the experience. Culinary practices connect people to the seasons, to the sea, and to one another. Cultural life thrives quietly yet vibrantly. Festivals, music, and local art bring coastal communities together, celebrating heritage while embracing modern creativity. Folk songs echo through villages, galleries display both contemporary and traditional works, and theater performances draw on historical narratives, reminding residents and visitors alike of the region's layered identity. As the sun sets over the Black Sea, the coastline transforms into a palette of gold, pink, and violet. Waves shimmer in fading light, distant ships glow with lanterns, and the hush of evening carries across sand and stone. The moment is fleeting yet eternal, a convergence of natural beauty, human presence, and history that resonates deeply. Standing here, one understands that the southern coast is not merely a destination, it is a lens through which the richness of Ukraine can be experienced fully, geographically, culturally, and emotionally. This coast, with its balance of vibrancy and calm, history and modernity, serves as a fitting culmination of a journey through Ukraine. From the mountains of the west to the cities and countryside in between, and finally to the southern shores, the country reveals its full spectrum: resilience, beauty, and a profound connection to both land and people. Here, at the edge of the Black Sea, Ukraine's story meets its horizon, leaving visitors with an impression that lingers long after they depart, a sense of wonder, respect, and heartfelt connection to a land both enduring and alive. As our journey through Ukraine comes to a close, take a moment to let it all sink in: the towering Carpathians, the serene rivers, the lively cities, the golden plains, and the endless Black Sea horizon. Ukraine is more than a destination. It's a living tapestry of history, culture, and natural beauty. Every street, every village, every landscape reflects resilience, creativity, and heart. The memories of this land linger in ways words cannot fully capture, inviting you to carry a piece of its spirit wherever you go. Ukraine is a reminder that the world still holds places that inspire wonder, connection, and awe. Places where travel becomes not just seeing, but feeling. And now, as the sun sets over this extraordinary land, the journey continues, in stories, in memories, and in every dream of exploration yet to come. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.